Imagine a world where April 15th was just another day. No filing, no forms, no receipts, and no IRS looking over your shoulder. And that's because there wouldn't be an IRS. Sound impossible? Well, then you didn't just hear what President Trump announced today from the Oval Office. The federal income tax is about to go extinct. This isn't just political rhetoric. It's the signal of a massive structural shift that's already underway. The IRS is already collapsing from the inside, and the numbers show that the era of the income tax may be coming to an end by necessity, not just by choice. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another wonderful day in the glorious golden age that you made possible back on November the 5th. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And if today doesn't bring home just how much you changed the world on November the 5th, nothing will. Speaking from the Oval Office, President Trump just announced once again that paying income taxes will soon be a thing of the past.
Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever, and we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars, and we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people in addition to reducing debt. As you know, I inherited a lot of debt, but it's peanuts compared to the kind of numbers we're talking about. So we're going to be making a dividend to the people, and additionally, we're going to be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
Now, as many of you know, Trump has been floating this idea for some time, which is just another way of saying that he's having his people work out the kinks of the proposal. But Trump definitely wants to be the president who will go down in history as the one who ended once and for all the income tax, the federal income tax, which will forever enshrine him, in my opinion, as the greatest president in all of American history, bar none. Now, in fact, he's fond of saying that he wants to see the Internal Revenue Service replaced with an external revenue service, where tariffs, taxes, and other countries become the primary source of federal revenue. Now, what's so key here is to recognize that this goes way beyond tariffs. It goes way beyond anything that the legacy media is going to tell you in their desperate bid to try to disparage this insanely and overwhelmingly popular proposal. Again, there are few issues that more Americans would agree on than ridding, not cutting, not reducing, ridding this world of the IRS. But putting all that aside, there is an inconvenient truth here that the legacy media is desperately trying to hide from you. They're trying to hide the current state of the IRS. And what they're not telling you is the IRS, as we speak, is literally crumbling. The IRS is falling apart, and it's been imploding now for some time. According to internal data, IRS enforcement staffing has plummeted by 34% in recent years. They're bleeding personnel. We're seeing a workforce reduction so severe that the agency now audits just 0.38% of all tax revenues. Yes, you heard that right, 0.38%, an all-time historic low. And for those who think the IRS is only hunting the rich, yeah, think again. Audit rates for millionaires have dropped by over 70%. To put it rather mildly, the enforcement machine is broken. It simply cannot keep up with the complexity of the modern economy or the sheer volume of the tax code. But here's the real crisis driving Trump's decision to change course now, at this moment. It's not just that the tax collector is weak, it's that the government is broke. I mean, you heard Trump himself talk about the mess he inherited from the auto pen in chief. We've entered nothing less than a doom loop of spending. So in the first 7 months of the fiscal year 2024 alone, the U.S. government spent $514 billion on net interest payments on the national debt alone. Now let that sink in. We are now spending more on serving our debt than we spend on national defense. We spend more on interest than on Medicare. The government is borrowing money just to pay the interest on the money it already borrowed. Since 2019, for every single tax dollar, for every single dollar of new tax revenue that comes into the federal government has added a staggering $158 in new spending. I don't know what math they're using, but bottom line, they spend nearly $160 for every $1 of tax revenue they take in. Our national debt is climbing by $1 trillion every 100 days. This is why the old system is dead. You simply cannot tax your way out of a debt spiral this deep. The tax code itself is already a 4 million word monster designed for political favors, not for raising revenue. It's an architecture of an old age that can no longer survive in the modern world. It simply doesn't matter how many more millions of words you add to the tax code. What's going to fix it? If it's not 4 million words, what? Will 6 million words fix it? Will 8 million words fix it? It's not going to change because the system itself is broken. And that is precisely where Trump's tariff plan comes in. Wait until you see this. President Trump has made it absolutely clear the future belongs to those who embrace financial sovereignty, right? Independence from the old economic system that the elites still manipulate and control. Now, he's been talking a lot about Bitcoin, crypto, and decentralized finance like never before because he knows what we all know. The old globalist system is collapsing and a patriot-led economy is rising in its place. Right now, we're watching the old financial order, the Wall Street globalist system, crumble under its own corruption. For decades, they've used our savings, our pensions, and our taxes to prop up a system that enriches them and enslaves us. But gang, those days are over. That's why I am so excited to tell you about my friends at Economic Ninja. They're building the future of finance, one that's decentralized, secure, and built for freedom-loving patriots like you and me. Here's how it works. The Economic Ninja gives you the tools and training to learn, trade, and earn in the new digital economy through their crypto masterclass without having to rely on big banks or the bureaucrats in D.C. You get to take back control of your wealth, your future, and your freedom. I've been going through the Ninjas trainings, and gang, they're absolutely amazing. And I might just say, I've already seen the financial results. And what I love about these guys is that they share our vision. This isn't just about money. It's about building a financial world rooted in a system where you can grow your wealth while staying true to your conservative values. This step-by-step crypto masterclass is a full guide to generational wealth for all. Even if you've never touched a coin or started learning about crypto, this masterclass is the real deal, and it's available right now. So don't sit on the sidelines while history's being made. Go to ninjadefipro.com/Turley. That's ninjadefipro.com/Turley. Or just click on the link below and discover how patriots like you are building the next great financial civilization. Because the truth is, we're not escaping the old system. We're replacing it. Go there now, and let's build this golden age together. A Biden-era bill that pumped $80 billion of funding into the IRS was designed to hire the IRS agents necessary to raise an extra $200 billion in tax revenue over 10 years. Trump has just announced he's already raised that in tariffs in a matter of a few months. Again, let that hit you. That's the power of Trump's tariff plan. It's about tapping into a massive global source of income for our federal government, all the while unleashing the American taxpayer. Now, this is not a new idea. It's actually a return, right? It's a form of retraditionalization that we talk about all the time on this channel. It's a return to America's roots. It's the essence of making America great again. From 1790 to 1860, the United States government was funded almost entirely by tariffs. Again, let that hit you. For nearly the first century of our existence as a nation, there was no income tax. That was the era when America became an economic superpower. Trump's proposal to swap income tax for tariffs is a pivot back to that model, back to what made America great. Taxing foreign consumption rather than American labor. It's a move that bypasses the broken IRS bureaucracy entirely. Instead of chasing 150 million Americans for tax forms, the government collects revenue at the ports. Instead of politicizing the tax code and using it for cheap political gain, like taxing the rich or exempting this group or that group from taxes, the entire income tax burden would be completely lifted, igniting an economic explosion the likes of which this country has never seen. Now, critics are going to be very quick to say that tariffs can't replace income tax revenue. They'll argue that tariffs alone won't be able to cover the nearly $5 trillion the government spends. And they're right, if spending stays the same. But that's the quiet part of this plan. It forces a reckoning. When you move to a tariff-based system, you're capping the government's ability to spend endlessly. You're starving the beast. You're forcing a permanent doging of government departments to cut out all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Again, they can no longer politicize the tax code. They can no longer promise to tax the top 1%. Or if you're Zoran Mamdani, they can no longer promise to tax the more white neighborhoods. All that ends with this Trump tariff plan. Now, government has to live within its means, within a capped system of revenue that can't be politicized with resentment and envy. The writing is on the wall. The IRS is shrinking. The debt is exploding. The current tax system is mathematically unsustainable. Whether it happens next year or in the next decade, the transition away from income tax is coming. Trump has just accelerated the timeline. The game is changing. The only question left is, are you prepared for what comes next?